Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome for this session. Today, this is the fourth session of this lesson, fiber to fabric. First one we have gone through the introduction session. Second and third session we have gone through the plant fibers, animal fibers, natural fibers, synthetic fibers. Okay. In last lecture we have gone through the plant fibers and animal fibers. Today in this lecture we are going through the different points. Okay, this is also one of the animal fiber which is very famous in the world and also very commercially it is very useful for everyone. Okay, so let's start this session. Today we are going to see this point. First of all, we are going to learn about the life history of silk moth. Second point, what is cocoon? Third one, what is sericulture? Fourth, variety of silk moths that you are going to learn, and second, commercial use of silk. Okay, before starting the silk, let's learn about the silk. Okay, silk is traditionally using in India from ancient times. Okay. In China is the world's leading silk producer. Okay, so it is still China is on the top in the production of silk. Okay, so India is also among the best countries or the topmost countries which is producing the silk. Okay, so why India and China are there? Because India and China both are using silk in a high amount. Okay, if you observe in our premises, in our relatives, aunt, mother, grandmother, mostly whenever she goes into the shop, okay, so they prefers the silk clothes. Silk clothes are very soft. Okay, so there is a huge demand of silk. Okay, especially in Asian countries, Indian subcontinent, silk is considered as a precious clothes. Whenever there is a traditional festivals or important days at our home, so mostly the women of our home they prefers the silk clothes. Okay, so how does silk is produced? Okay, so now we are going to the use of clothes. Commercially, it is very expensive rather as compared to other clothes. If you compare the cotton clothes, if you compare the woolen clothes, okay, as compared to those clothes, silk clothes are quite expensive. The why they are expensive? Because I told you they are durable. Okay, the most important thing is that silk clothes are durable clothes. We can use it for a long time. Secondly, they are very soft. Okay, and from ancestors, from long time of period, silk clothes are preferred as a precious and we can say socially precious. Okay, there is a prestige we have in a society. So it is very commonly used in India. Okay, this type of clothes. So let's begin this first point, that life history of silk. So life history of silk, just like in a human beings in our life, so we have a different stages of life. When we born as a child, as we grow up as a teenager, then we will go in a young age, and afterward there is the old age. Afterward there will be a death. Okay, means that cycle will be going on. Okay, so child age, teenage, young age and old age. This is the different stages of our life. So same silk moth also have a different stages of life. Okay, and that's different stages of life I have mentioned here in the circle. Okay, eggs. The female moth lays the eggs. Okay, the first thing is that female silk moth lays the eggs. Okay, so now these eggs, as we go through, there are the two different industries which will depend on the silk. Okay, as you compare, two different industries are there. First industry is related to farming, second is directly related to commercial. So what is related to farming, what is related to commercial? Just see in this point. Firstly, these eggs, two industries I said. In first industry, what happens? There is a complete circle. Okay, In first industry, their purpose is not to obtain the silk. They don't want to obtain the silk. They want to obtain the eggs. What happens first of all? Eggs, larva, pupa, moth. Again these eggs. When that egg stage is there, farmers sells these eggs to the people who wanted to produce silk. Are you getting? Now there is a production. This they produce. They produce eggs. They produce eggs in a large amount. Then they sell these eggs to the people who wanted to produce silk. So this is the first industry. In this industry, what is the product? Eggs. Okay, they try to lay as much as eggs they can collect, and they sell these eggs to the persons who wanted to obtain the silk. So that is the first industry. Okay, in first industry there is a complete cycle. Okay, in second industry they don't want eggs. That eggs hatches into larva. We call it caterpillars and silkworms. And that caterpillar turns into pupa, and after pupa, they obtain the silk moths. We can say create a thread. Okay, that thread is get in its surroundings, and it will die there. And from here, the chains break. Okay, from there they obtain silk. At this stage, they obtain silk. They send the cocoons into the hot water. Whatever the moth present inside, it dies, and they obtain the silk from that silk. Okay. First industry, there is a complete cycle. They collect the eggs and sell to the farmers who wanted to grow the silk. Second, they don't want eggs. They collect the eggs from others. Okay, they have the different larva, pupa, moth. When they are at the cocoon stage, they put that all the silk into the hot water and they obtain the. Okay, there are two different industries. First industry, they have the eggs as a production, and second industry, they have the silk. They wanted to obtain it. Okay, these are the two different industries. Okay, so we got it. How the people use it commercially in both processes, in both the industries. The main motto is to obtain the finance, to obtain the money, to gain the money. Okay, so in first, by selling the eggs, they get the money. Farmers, they lay the eggs, they sell. Okay, they complete the cycle, egg, larva, pupa, moth. Again, they collect the eggs and they sell the eggs to the persons and obtain the money. They get the money. In second, the people who are taking the eggs from the farmer, they collect the eggs, keep it on the mulberry leaves. Okay, they feed them. Okay, and finally they obtain the silk. Okay, two different industries, two different purpose. Okay, got it? So let's see this. What is the life cycle? Okay, first of all, when the moth lays the eggs, okay, from that eggs, larva hatches. Okay, larva is also known as caterpillars or silkworms. Okay, they both, we can say caterpillars also and silkworms also. Okay, then that larva turns into pupa. Okay, larva turns into pupa, and after this stage, this is the crucial stage. This stage is very crucial. Here, what happens? From the mouth of the larva, from the silk moth, it starts releasing the thread. Okay, and that thread is made up of proteins. The thread is made up of proteins. Okay, that stage he started to rolling around himself. Now, what is that thread? The thread is made up of protein, and it is too much stronger as compared to a steel thread. If you have steel thread at same size steel thread and same size silk thread, which is stronger? Your answer will be maybe steel thread, but wrong. Silk thread is much more stronger than steel thread. Steel and silk, remember, silk is much more stronger than steel thread. Okay, so what that pupa do? Cocoon start rolling himself with this thread. Okay, the time comes, he completely cover himself through that thread, silk thread. Completely, he packed inside. Okay, just like we can saw that in Egypt the mummies. Okay, what that people do, so the bandage around it, completely they covered itself to the white bandage. Okay, and this kept into the grave. Like the same, that moth take the thread around himself, completely he rolls this thread and cover himself under that thread. Okay. So finally, it's come to the moth stage. So that he covered himself with a complete thread, and that thread is made up of protein, and it is much more stronger than steel thread. Okay. Now here it ends. The farmers who want eggs, they continue it, but the farmers who want silk, they stop at this point. They stop at this point. Okay. What they do, they collect all those moth which is covered by the silk, they kept into the hot water and boil it. When they boil it, the moth present inside, it dies. Okay, it dies. That moth present inside dies. So finally, after boiling, they obtain the silk from that silk moth. They obtain the silk from silk moth. So that is the way they produce the silk. Okay. Another way that I wanted to mention that two different industries. First, egg is the production. Second, silk. Okay. So these are the points that we have into the life history of silk. Second, what is cocoon? Okay. As I told you, there is a stage. In that stage, the moth cover himself with a silk thread. Okay, completely it covers, and that stage is called cocoon. That stage is called cocoon. The stage where the caterpillar covered himself with a thread. Completely he locked himself under that silk thread. Okay. That is called cocoon. And so there is an important thing that if we drawn the silk from that, we get only one silk. Okay, one thread. It's much more longer. Okay. If moth started giving the eggs, when it comes out from that, it breaks the cocoon, and if the cocoon will break, they will not give the proper silk. Okay, there is a very less value of that silk when it is broken. So at the stage of cocoon only, farmers obtain the silk. Once that moth started to break the cocoon, the silk, okay, that broken silk does not have any value. Got it? That broken silk does not have any value. So at the stage of cocoon only, farmers obtain the silk, and it is expensive. Okay, they will get a good amount of money from that. Okay, so that is the cocoon. So next point we are going to learn about sericulture. What is sericulture? See, we have learned about so many things. Okay, so nowadays everything has a specific name. Okay, so the what is meant by sericulture? Rearing of silk. This life cycle, when the farmer obtain the silk with this process, this all process is called sericulture. Okay, breeding and rearing of silk moth. Okay, nurturing of silk moth, that process is called sericulture. Okay, nowadays farmers are using this process a lot because they want money. Now the farmers are not thinking through what they were thinking in ancient time, previous times. Now people are completely dependent on commercial crops. Okay. They don't want grains, they want money. Okay, if they have money, they can buy anything. Now each and every farmer, the most important thing, the most valuable thing, they are getting the commercial crops. They all turn towards the commercial crop. The reason is behind the commercial crop, they can get the better yield and they can have a lot of money. Okay, if they are taking care of the plants very good, so they will get the money in a larger amount. So sericulture is a rearing of the silk. That is called sericulture. Okay, so next point is that variety of silk modes. Okay, the most commonly, the common silkworm is mulberry leaves. Mulberry moths. Mulberry moths is a common breed of sheep. There is a variety of silk moths. Okay. Now in the world nowadays, as I told you that hybridization is going on. Hybridization is not two different breeds they are taking, and they are obtaining another different breeds. And that breeds, what is the purpose of that? Simply a commercial purpose. They want more money, so they want to hybridize it. Okay, so same thing. Now mulberry moth is a commonly used moth in mostly in India and China. Okay, it is common. Mostly it is used in India and China. That is a mulberry moth. Okay. Now here is a texture, color is also important. Okay, texture, color, and strength. Which silk moths gives them a good texture? Which silk moths gives them a huge amount of production? That is also important. Texture, huge amount of production. These things nowadays farmers are getting that, and mulberry leaves, mulberry moths provides them the good amount of silk. So it is mostly common used in India and China. Secondly, commercial use of silk. Now the reason behind the farming is a commercial use. Everybody wants the money. So farmer, especially from India and China. Why I am taking again and again the name of India and China? Because India and China are the countries which have huge production of silk. Okay, not only the production, but they use in their daily life. They use silk a lot. Okay, that's why both countries are commercially strong in the silk industry. Okay, commercial use of silk. Commercial use of silk. Now the people are using the silk sarees. In South India, it is very common. Okay, commonly the South Indian women, they use the silk sarees, clothes. Okay, another things, bedsheet and all those. The people are used to habitual about the silk productions. Okay, when they have the silk products, obviously farmers demand and supply. Okay, if we have a lot of demand of silk, so farmer will be supply a lot of silk. Okay, that is the demand and supply. Okay, so today we are learning these points. Let's have a quick revision of this point. First, we have gone through the life history of silk moth. In that, there are two different industries. First one is laying eggs and selling those eggs to the farmer. Third one, the farmer who are purchasing the silk eggs. Okay, they are utilizing it to obtain the silk. So two different processes: egg, larva. It is also called caterpillar and silkworms. Pupa and silk. Okay, this is the complete life cycle. Second point, we have learned about the cocoon. Cocoon is the stage when the silkworm covered himself with a silk thread. Silk thread is more stronger than a steel thread. Okay, this stage is called cocoon. Sericulture, rearing of silk. Okay, that is called sericulture. Second, variety of moth. There are varieties of moth. Mostly common use the mulberry moth is the mostly common use silk. And second is commercial. How the farmers use it commercially. They sell it, they prepare the clothes, they prepare the bed sheet. So many things. There are a lot of commercial use of silk. So farmer options a lot of money. Okay, so this is the today's topic. We have learned about the 5 different points. Okay, so I hope you have understood these points. Okay, if you have any doubts and queries, we will solve in whenever we have a Zoom lecture. Okay, I hope you understood it. If you have any doubt, mention the doubt in any notebook or somewhere, collect it. Whenever we have a discussion, we'll solve this doubt. Thank you and have a nice day for today.